The Sutra of Vajra. Chapter 11. The Black Lotus, Sunyata's Bloom. Kyoheim's mind drifted to a distant memory from her childhood, a time when her world was simpler, yet her ambitions were far more naive. She could almost hear her younger self's voice, filled with a fiery resolve, declaring, "I want to be a weapon, the greatest weapon ever. A tool to be used." The thought lingered for a moment before a faint, bittersweet smile crossed her lips. How foolish I was to think like that back then, she mused. Family is everything. Those words, once so innocent yet misguided, now echoed in her heart with a tinge of regret, grounding her in the present. She and Nagar assumed their fighting stances. The air crackled with tension, their energy building until, with a surge of power, they charged at each other. Two forces of nature, destined to collide in this fateful battle. Their swords clashed with a deafening roar, sparks flying as Kyoheim relentlessly pressed forward, her strikes driving Nagar back with each powerful blow. She screamed, mutation style, Hibikumo snake clouds. Black and purple smoke poured from her mouth, enveloping the battlefield in a thick, ominous shroud. Nagar chuckled, his voice carrying through the smoke. You should know better. Raising Kusanagi no Tsurugi, he slashed through the air, dispelling the smoke in a single sweep. As the battlefield cleared, he scanned his surroundings, muttering, "Where did she go? I can't sense her energy." Suddenly, Kyoheim's blade emerged from beneath him, tearing through the ground. Nagar leapt into the air just as she erupted from below, swinging her sword with lethal precision. He reacted quickly, slashing at her face, but her form dissipated into mist. A clone, he realized, spinning around too late. Kyoheim appeared behind him, her sword descending toward his chest. Nagar raised his blade to block, but Kyoheim shouted, "T-sure." A burst of purple energy surrounded Nagar, freezing him in place. His muscles locked, his defenses shattered. Kyoheim seized the moment, striking him squarely in the chest. The purple energy faded into the air, leaving both combatants visibly drained. They staggered, their breaths labored, as the ground beneath them seemed to tremble in resonance with the sheer force of their clash. Blood trickled from the corner of Nagare's mouth, yet his eyes gleamed with a mixture of defiance and faint admiration. "I'm impressed," he admitted, his voice strained, each word laced with reluctant acknowledgement. "You're slowly getting better at using the prince's technique, but you're still weak-minded." He wiped the blood from his lips with the back of his hand, smirking. "And you can't sustain it for long without tearing yourself apart." Nagare's gaze dropped to the fresh wound on his chest, where Kyoheim's strike had landed. A thin line of blood seeped through the fabric of his armor, but the injury was shallow, non-lethal. He chuckled grimly, his smirk twisting into something between mockery and respect. "You had a chance to strike me in the heart, and yet you chose this." He tapped the wound lightly, wincing as he added, "A non-deadly spot." "Why? Still hesitant? Or just soft?" Kyoheim's intense gaze softened, her expression shifting from combatant to confidant. Her weapon remained embedded in Nagare's chest, unwavering, as if to emphasize both her resolve and her restraint. Her voice, calm yet earnest, cut through the tension like a blade. "I learned everything from you, Nagar. Every move, every technique. But that's why I know we don't have to do this. We don't have to fight." Nagare's brow furrowed as her words sank in, the air between them heavy with unspoken memories. "You don't have to follow the prince's orders blindly," Kyoheim continued, her tone carrying the weight of deep conviction. "Your loyalty should be to our clan, to our people, not to one man. Not to someone who only sees us as tools." Nagare's face hardened as he shouted, "I will follow the warrior's path." His body began to radiate intense heat, the ground beneath him cracking from the energy. Kyoheim's eyes widened as the sky above darkened, storm clouds swirling. She barely had time to react as a bolt of lightning shot down, striking Nagar. She leapt away, pulling her blade free from his chest as the lightning surged through him, mending his wounds. Nagar stood tall, his body now glowing with crackling lightning. "You're fortunate," he said, his voice like thunder. "That could have ended you. But now, it's my turn." The storm intensified, and the air grew heavy with electricity as his power surged, ready to unleash its fury. As Nagar charged forward, Kyoheim's eyes dropped to her blade, now gleaming with a strange, fierce light. The battlefield trembled, the weight of their impending clash palpable in the charged air. With determination blazing in her eyes, Kyoheim dashed to meet Nagar. His blade crackled white and blue with lightning, while hers glowed ominously purple, both surrounded by swirling clouds of unleashed power. As their swords collided, a thunderous shockwave tore through the battlefield, shaking the ground and sky alike. But it was not just steel against steel. Both warriors were enveloped in their toroidal energy fields, living auras that amplified their strength, warped reality, and bent the flow of time itself. Within those fields, their movements accelerated beyond comprehension. For flashes of moments, they struck at FTL plus speeds, their blades moving faster than light could follow. And in rare, terrifying instants, the toroidal distortion propelled them into immeasurable velocity, collapsing distance and causality itself in their duel. Can be skipped. Narrator, to be a master of your toroidal energy field is to command reality itself. Within its domain, your strength, speed, and very existence transcend natural law. The field can propel you to faster than light speeds, and in rare surges, even to immeasurable velocities beyond causality. Yet this gift is bound by limits. Its power exists only within the reach of your own field. Step beyond it, or let it falter, and you return to your natural speed. To wield it demands immense energy, and few can endure the cost. End of narration. Sparks flew as their blades locked once more, energy screaming between them. Their eyes met in that suspended eternity, a clash not only of swords, but of wills strong enough to shake reality apart. They separated briefly, only for Nagar to unleash a blast of lightning energy. Kyoheim dodged nimbly, but a sudden slash from Nagar severed her arm, sending it to the ground. Nagar smirked coldly at the sight. "You're making this harder than it needs to be. Just lay down and let me end this with honor." Kyoheim staggered, clutching at the wound only to freeze in shock along with Nagar. In an instant, her arm was back, perfectly restored, as if it had never been severed. There was no growth, no regeneration. The limb simply existed again, bypassing time, space, and the very reality that had once claimed it. The discarded flesh vanished, overwritten by the return of a body that had never been cut at all. The air around her pulsed violently, a deep purple glow radiating from her blade, crackling with raw, unrestrained force. The battlefield itself trembled, warping under the weight of her awakening power. Her eyes widened in realization, and her lips curled into a defiant smile. I understand my power, she declared. It didn't heal me, it reverted time and space within my body. It sent me back to the moment before the wound was made, erasing the cut entirely, as if it never happened. Can be skipped. Narrator, Kagami no to the Sword of Reflection. Each blade is a fragment of its master soul, evolving as they do, revealing new forms and powers through trial and spirit. Kyoheim's weapon, once the precise Muramasa katana, had entered its second transformation, jagged and serrated, like a storm-given steel. She named this form Shur no Tanjo, the birth of death. As long as her sword remained in this state, she transcended life and death itself. No wound could claim her, for her body would always revert to a state untouched, as if the damage had never been. End of narration. Nagare's smirk faltered as he took a step back, his expression hardening. For the first time, a hint of doubt crept into his gaze. With a steady breath, Kyoheim raised her blade high, the purple glow intensifying. This is the power of Shur no Tanjo, the birth of death. The sword hummed with dark energy, now fully aligned with her new abilities. Nagar frowned but wasted no time, charging again. They clashed in a whirlwind of slashes, each blow more brutal than the last. Nagar repeatedly gained the upper hand, slicing off Kyoheim's limbs, but each time, she regrew them, her attacks becoming fiercer and more relentless. Finally, Nagar thrust his blade skyward, calling upon the heavens themselves. The storm above him raged with fury as dark clouds swirled and gathered, their ominous presence filling the sky. In a blinding flash, lightning coalesced into a single orb of pure energy, crackling with destructive power. With a fierce cry, Nagar hurled the orb toward Kyoheim, his voice filled with certainty that this would end the battle. But Kyoheim was ready. Her eyes narrowed, her expression fierce as she raised her hand toward the descending orb. The purple aura surrounding her blade surged with newfound strength, her body trembling under the strain. She tapped into a deeper power, the magic inherited from her mother. Her voice broke through the chaos as she screamed, "T-Shur." A wave of purple energy exploded from her eyes, freezing the orb of lightning in midair. The orb hung there, suspended, its crackling power locked in place by Kyoheim's will. Her eyes bled from the immense force of the magic, but she did not falter. With a mighty effort, she hurled the frozen orb high into the sky, sending it spiraling into the orbit where it exploded in a brilliant display of light and energy. The battlefield fell silent, the storm dissipating as quickly as it had appeared. But as she turned her focus back to the battlefield, Nagar appeared before her, his blade piercing her chest where her heart should be. Kyoheim gasped in pain as Nagar lifted her off the ground, lightning coursing through her body. "Let's see you heal from this," he snarled. "The pain will be endless." Kyoheim struggled, gripping the blade embedded in her chest. Tears welled in her eyes as Nagare's voice dripped with finality. "I won't make the same mistake like Tawareya. This ends with your head." He summoned a lightning blade in his free hand, raising it for the killing blow. Kyoheim's thoughts raced. "I need to survive. I have to avenge my mother, but it's too late. I'm too weak." She closed her eyes, bracing for the end. A sudden, bone-jarring impact echoed through the battlefield. She opened her eyes just in time to see Nagar flying backward, reeling from a powerful punch he hadn't anticipated. Kyoheim fell to the ground, the blade still lodged in her chest. Looking up, she saw a man crouching before her, green flames flickering around him. "Adamus," she whispered. His body was marked with blood and bruises, scars of the battle with the superhero he had just faced and of the struggles against the foes and chaos he fought through to save the citizens along the way. "Who else?" he replied, a smirk tugging at his lips. "I told you we'd avenge our mothers." The green flames roared to life around him, casting a vivid light across the battlefield. Adamus reached out, helping Kyoheim to her feet, then gently pulled the sword from her chest. Kyoheim winced, but her voice was steady. "What are you doing here? Why didn't you just head to the teleporter?" Adamus's smirk softened into a warm smile. "Because my dreams are just as important as anyone else's. And I want to see yours come true, too." Her knees buckled suddenly, and she collapsed back to the ground. Adamus knelt beside her, his voice firm yet calm. "Stay down. You've already pushed yourself too far. Let me handle this." On the horizon, Nagar appeared, his stride unyielding and his presence radiating menace. Adamus rose, green flames blazing around him like a shield. His gaze never wavered as he bent down, picking up Nagare's sword from the ground. He examined it with a smirk, the emerald fire dancing across the blade's edge. "Nice sword," he remarked. "Too bad you're not getting it back unless you decide to walk away." Nagare's smile widened as he snapped his fingers. Instantly, Kusanagi no Tsurugi vanished from Adamus's hand and reappeared in Nagare's grasp, its blade gleaming with an ominous light. He let out a low, chilling laugh, his voice echoing like thunder. "Two birds with one stone, traitors to your own country, unable to follow simple orders. And you, so-called hero Vajra, you're the one who killed my brother. It will be my honor to take your head as retribution." Adamus's voice was calm but resolute. "Life isn't just about following rules. Sometimes laws aren't fair. We're not criminals. We were framed. And I didn't kill your brother, his own magical abilities did." Nagare's lips curled into a sinister grin. "You did kill him, and now I'll kill you. I will avenge him." His gaze darkened as he pointed his blade at Kyoheim. "But first, step aside. I'm here for a specific reason to end her life." Adamus stepped forward, green flames swirling around him. "Isn't she your student?" he asked, his voice steady but sharp. "Have you no shame? No sense of honor? Has your loyalty to your country truly driven you to fall this far?" Nagare's eyes flared with anger as he barked, "Shut up. What do you know about honor? You, a weakling, stand in my way. You're nowhere near my level, just an ant under my boot." Adamus cracked his knuckles, his eyes gleaming with determination. "I've been waiting for this rematch." He shifted into his Vajra stance, flames crackling with renewed intensity. Nagar chuckled darkly but thought to himself, "I need to finish my mission. Sadly, that means killing her. I'll deal with him later." Without another word, he charged. Adamus roared, meeting him head-on. The battlefield erupted in flames and fury. Nagar swung Kusanagi no Tsurugi toward Adamus in a flurry of strikes, each slash narrowly missing its mark. Energy rippled through the air with every miss, carving deep fissures into the ground. With precision, Nagar aimed a powerful horizontal slash at Adamus's midsection, but Adamus was too quick. He leapt high, narrowly avoiding the blade, and in midair spun into a backheel kick. The impact sent Nagar flying, spread across his face. "You've improved since our last fight," he said darkly, "but it won't be enough." He thrust his sword toward the heavens. The skies turned violently, blackening as thunder roared. In the next instant, lightning cascaded downward in a torrential storm, not as single bolts, but as an endless rain of pure destruction. Each strike smashed into the battlefield with apocalyptic force, blasting open massive craters and gouging deep scars into the earth. The ground shook as though the heavens themselves had turned against them. Adamus blurred into motion faster than light, faster than ever before. His body tore through the battlefield at FDL plus speeds, weaving effortlessly between the descending bolts, each dodge a flash of emerald energy streaking through the chaos. But then, to his horror, he realized the storm was bending, its aim shifting. The bolts began converging on Kyoheim, who lay weakened and vulnerable on the ground. Without hesitation, Adamus pushed his velocity even higher, transcending the limits of his own speed. In less than an instant, he was at her side, his fist flaring with green energy. A force shield erupted around them just as the lightning rained down. Bolts hammered against the barrier, each impact shaking the air, the shield shimmering and rippling like a living flame under the relentless assault. Through it all, Nagar strode forward, untouched by his own storm, each step crackling with the authority of thunder, his smirk unbroken. "This isn't ordinary lightning," Nagar said, his voice low and menacing. "It's fused with my energy, making it millions of times stronger." He paused, eyes narrowing at Adamus. "You see, that's why you're weak, Vajra. Always saving people. If your comrades can't protect themselves, let them die." Adamus gritted his teeth, his shield holding firm. "No one's dying under my watch, especially not a friend." Inside the shield, Kyoheim winced, her voice trembling. "You don't have to do this, Nagar. You're like an older brother to me. Don't listen to the prince, he's not our leader. We're family. Don't you remember the times we spent together? You taught me so much." Nagare's gaze hardened. "My loyalty is to the prince. I taught you better than this. A samurai's duty is absolute. Family comes second." His sword began to glow, energy surging along its length. Kyoheim shook her head, tears streaking her face. "And my duty is to bring you back, brother." Nagar pointed his blade at the shield, energy crackling ominously. "And since this so-called hero will protect you, it'll make my job easier to break through." He took a step forward, but before he could strike, a sharp voice echoed through the chaos. "Water bullets." From the sky, a deluge of high-pressure water rained down, forcing Nagar to dodge. Each drop struck the ground with explosive force, leaving deep craters. Nagar leapt back, scanning the battlefield for the source of the attack. His eyes narrowed as he locked onto a figure emerging from the shadows. Kyoheim and Adamus looked skyward as a figure descended. It was Nathan, also known as Hunter, his white metallic wings shimmering ominously. The wings hovered above him, detached from his body, forming an umbrella-like shield against the lightning. His outstretched hands crackled with energy as he fired a volley of water bullets at Nagar. Hunter landed beside Kyoheim and Adamus, standing confidently. "Drop the shield," he said, his voice calm but commanding. "My wings will protect you for now." As his wings expanded, their metallic sheen formed a massive protective barrier, covering all three of them like a giant umbrella. "Thanks, man," Adamus said, his breath heavy. "But what are you doing here?" Hunter smirked. "Listen, kid, what do you call yourself again? Vajra? It's got a nice ring to it. Watching you save those villagers on your way here reminded me of myself back in my superhero days." Adamus blinked in surprise. "You used to be a superhero? I thought you hated them." Hunter dismissed the comment with a wave. "No time for backstories, kid. We've got to reach that teleporter before those people close it. So, let's us hurry up and finish this guy." The two stood back to back, facing Nagar. Nagar narrowed his eyes at Hunter. His thoughts raced. Is that the legendary dragon from the west? The superhero known for his unparalleled swordsmanship? Pointing his blade toward them, Nagar deactivated his lightning storm, the skies calming. He smirked darkly. "What a fortunate day. I get to kill the great dragon from the west, the so-called hero Vajra, the who killed my brother, and a traitor to our country." Nagare's entire body began to glow, arcs of lightning crackling around him as he ascended into the air. His eyes turned an electric blue, and a swirling tornado of energy enveloped him. In a blur of movement, he shot toward them like a thunderbolt, FDL plus speeds. Adamus reacted instantly, grabbing Kyoheim and moving her out of harm's way. Meanwhile, Nathan stood firm, spreading his wings wide. "Watershed," he roared, summoning a torrential wall of water to block Nagare's attack. The impact was catastrophic. The ground beneath them cracked and quaked as the two forces collided. The energy burst sent Nathan flying backward, blood trickling from his mouth as he crashed into the ground. Nagar, consumed by bloodlust, turned his focus to Hunter, pursuing him relentlessly. Adamus gently set Kyoheim down, his voice firm. "Stay here, okay?" "No," she protested, trying to stand but collapsing again. "I can help." Adamus shook his head. "Stay here," he said, his tone softening. "You can just leave," Kyoheim insisted. "Go to the teleporter. You don't have to protect me. I'm a samurai. Like Nagar said, I picked my path." Adamus crouched beside her, a faint smile on his lips. "You can always choose a different path," he said. Green energy enveloped her, forming a protective cocoon. "This will keep you safe." He turned back to the battle, determination blazing in his eyes, and charged toward Nagar. Nagar and Hunter's blades clashed, the air ringing with the collision of steel against living water. Hunter's weapon, not forged by any smith, but born of his own energy and shaped from pure water through the force of his will, shimmered with fluid power as it deflected Nagare's brutal strikes with precision. With a surge of intent, Hunter swung for Nagare's head, his blade cutting through the air like a tidal wave. But before it could land, Nagare's toroidal energy field erupted outward, repelling the attack in a violent shockwave that sent Hunter skidding across the ground. Nagar rushed forward, his sword a blur of lightning. Hunter met the charge, parrying perfectly, and aimed a slice at Nagare's legs. Yet once again, he was sent flying back, skidding to a stop a few paces away. Hunter clenched his jaw, thoughts racing. Why can't I hit him? Every time I get close, something forces me back. Nagar, standing in his battle stance, smirked. It's because of my toroidal energy field, he said calmly, his voice dripping with confidence. Every living being has one, but we samurai are masters of it. This energy surrounds our bodies and allows us to manipulate the space around us. When you strike at me, the field repels your attacks, creating extra space that wasn't there before. It's what keeps us apart, no matter how close you get. As Nagar explained, Adamus appeared from behind with a flying kick aimed at his head. Nagar caught the kick effortlessly, his grip like iron. You're too slow, Vajra, he taunted. Adamus twisted midair, flipping gracefully before landing beside Hunter. The two warriors exchanged a quick glance, unspoken trust sparking between them before launching a coordinated assault. Hunter's water blade carved through the air in sweeping arcs, while Adamus unleashed a storm of punches and kicks. Their combined offensive was relentless, but Nagare's toroidal energy field repelled every strike, the invisible barrier tossing them back again and again. Then, in the blink of an eye, Nagar vanished. For brief seconds, he moved at immeasurable speeds beyond thought, beyond perception, hammering them with strikes they couldn't track. Each blow landed like thunder, leaving bruises and blood in its wake. Even when he slowed to FTL plus speed, his movements warped space, bending the battlefield around him. Adamus growled through clenched teeth. We can't land a hit on him. That energy field keeps pushing us away, and his speed, every few seconds it jumps from faster than light to immeasurable. Hunter staggered beside him, battered and bruised. I can't keep up with that kind of speed. Not when he's warping space itself. Adamus's eyes flared golden. Then I'll make us keep up. He invoked velocity sync. Threads of golden life energy rippled from his core, weaving into the battlefield's fabric. In that instant, he connected Nagare's velocity to his own, latching onto the life string that defined the flow of Nagare's motion. Another strand lashed out, binding to Hunter as well. A golden pulse spread across them both. Suddenly, Adamus's lips curved into a sharp grin. Don't worry. We're at the same speed as him now. His speed isn't the problem anymore. It's that energy field he's manipulating around us. Hunter blinked, disbelief in his voice. What do you mean we don't have to worry about his speed? One of my special powers, Adamus replied, his gaze locked on Nagar. Velocity sync. We move exactly as fast as he does now. No time to explain. Hunter's grip tightened around his water-forged blade. Fine. Then what's the plan? You got something. Adamus nodded slowly, his eyes narrowing. Yeah, I think I know how to break through that field. Without another word, he extended his hand. A thin, radiant thread of golden life energy shot forth, connecting directly to Hunter's temple. Images, tactics, and strategies surged into Hunter's mind instantly. Hunter's eyes widened, then narrowed with a sly grin. Got it, he said, lifting his blade with renewed vigor. Let's do this. The two prepared for their next move, determination radiating between them as they faced the seemingly invincible Nagar. Nagar smirked confidently. You think you can beat me? I'm at my full power now. The last time we fought, Vajra, I didn't activate my toroidal energy field, especially not at this level. You couldn't touch me then, and now? Your speed is nowhere near enough to break through. Hunter stretched his arms out, his hands forming gun-like shapes. Water bullet, he shouted, firing a volley of water projectiles through the air. Nagar deflected most of them with his sword, his toroidal energy field redirecting others harmlessly around him. Despite this, Adamus observed closely, noting something crucial. If there are too many objects inside his energy field, his focus slips. He can't redirect everything at once. Acting on this insight, Adamus channeled his life energy deep into the ground. With a surge of power, he pulled the earth up like a massive rope, causing the terrain beneath them to explode into hundreds of airborne chunks. Dirt, rocks, and boulders shot skyward, carrying Nagar, Adamus, and Hunter along with them. Now, they fought in midair, each balanced precariously on pieces of floating debris. Hunter continued to fire his water bullets, while Adamus focused his energy. He grabbed a boulder mid-flight and whispered, switch. In an instant, Adamus swapped places with the rock, reappearing directly behind Nagar. Adamus lunged with a powerful punch, but Nagare's toroidal energy field shifted his body just enough to avoid the blow. Nagar countered, swinging his sword with lethal precision toward Adamus's chest. Switch! Adamus yelled again, vanishing just as the blade pierced through. Instead of striking flesh, Nagare's sword embedded itself in a massive boulder. The force of the impact sent Nagar flying backward, his grip on his weapon faltering. Seizing the moment, Hunter's water bullets found their mark, each one punching through Nagare's weakened energy field and landing devastating hits. Nagar gritted his teeth, realizing his predicament. Too many attacks. I can't redirect them all. From above, Adamus roared, unleashing his full power. He manipulated his life energy to grab nearly every piece of floating debris, hurling them like meteors toward Nagar. The sky became a chaotic storm of boulders, some of which Nagar dodged, but others slammed into him with crushing force. As the last boulder struck, Nagar crashed into the ground, landing on his feet but visibly shaken. On the opposite side of the battlefield, Adamus and Hunter landed gracefully, their gazes locked onto their opponent. Nagar wiped the blood from his lip and chuckled darkly. Impressive. You've forced me to take you seriously. Nagar clapped slowly, his voice dripping with mockery. I'm impressed. I expected nothing less from the great dragon of the West and the so-called warrior on fire. Adamus scowled. My superhero name isn't Warrior on Fire. It's Vajra. Nagar laughed coldly. Your little girlfriend never told you? She believes you're the great warrior on fire, a legend whispered across countless countries, realms, and dimensions. You've never heard the tale. Adamus narrowed his eyes, questioning. Me? A great warrior? A legend across the cosmos. Nagare's grin widened. Exactly. That's why your little girlfriend, Kyoheim, clings to you so tightly. Adamus snapped. She's not my girlfriend. She's just a friend, and I'll protect her with my life. Hunter, watching the exchange, thought to himself, this kid, the great warrior on fire? His gaze flickered to the green flames surrounding Adamus's body and his golden eyes, which seemed to glow with power. Nagar dismissed Adamus's words with a wave of his hand, a cruel smirk curling on his lips. Who cares? She'll be dead soon anyway. You can join her in the afterlife, playing the hero, he sneered. She's wrong about you. He chuckled darkly. She calls you the so-called warrior on fire, the one whose eyes supposedly contain the power to reshape the world? His laughter grew louder, dripping with mockery. You're nothing. Nagar straightened, his voice swelling with pride. The Prince of Samurai, our glorious leader, is the true warrior on fire. He's the one who will conquer the world, and I will be right by his side. It's my destiny. Shaking his head, Nagar began to pace, his movements sharp and deliberate. His voice rose to a furious roar. All of you mere ants crawling in my way. And like ants, I will crush you all. Nagari's voice turned sharp with disdain. This mission should have been over long ago. As he spoke, a sudden burst of yellow lasers shot toward him from behind Adamus and Hunter. Nagar raised a lightning shield in an instant, the bolts crackling fiercely as they obliterated the incoming attacks. Adamus and Hunter turned to see a massive horde of citizens and soldiers the pig-like Obaporkins charging into the battlefield. Their ranks blazed with chaos. Some fired searing laser blasts, others raised enchanted shields that shimmered with golden wards, while many floated across the shattered terrain on chunks of debris, carried by their crude but potent magic. Among them surged heavy war machines, tanks rattling forward with thunderous blasts and jets roaring overhead, melding steel with sorcery. The ground itself trembled as Obaporkan warlocks bent the earth to their will, raising jagged walls and summoning colossal golems of stone and mud to join the fray. From the rear lines, hulking warriors hurled meteor-sized boulders with terrifying ease, while spellcasters twisted raw energy into flaming projectiles that rained like falling stars. Among the Obaporkans, a familiar figure descended from a floating rock Civico, their old ally from prison. I told you, you can't handle this alone, Civico said with a smirk. We saw the explosions and came running. I rallied more people along the way. You've inspired hope in the Obaporkans by saving them, and now they're ready to fight back. Even some soldiers have turned against their corrupt leaders. Adamus frowned. You didn't have to do that, Civico. I'm the hero, I'm supposed to do the saving. Civico chuckled. Even superheroes need saving sometimes. Take your friends and get to the portal. We'll hold him off. Hunter grabbed Adamus by the shoulder. He's right. You can't save everyone. Let's go. This is our chance to save our families. They hurried to Kyoheim, helping her to her feet. She groaned but managed to stand. Let me talk to Nagar, she pleaded. I can change his mind. He's like a brother to me. Adamus and Hunter replied in unison. We don't think he feels that way about you anymore. Let's go. As they began to retreat, Adamus glanced back and saw Obaporkans being sliced apart, blasted by energy, and torn down by Nagare's relentless attacks. His fists clenched. We can't let them fight this monster alone. They'll lose. Hunter shook his head. You can't save everyone. Sometimes the pawns have to die to protect the king and queen. Adamus turned to him, anger burning in his voice. Now I see why you call yourself an ex-hero. I can't leave these people. Before he could finish, they all turned and froze. Nagar floated above them, his blue lightning now surging and flickering crimson. No, Kyoheim whispered, her face pale. There's no way. He's using that move. Adamus and Hunter turned to her, fear in their eyes. What move? Kyoheim stood paralyzed as Nagare's voice echoed across the battlefield. The move is called Shurhai Dominion, she whispered, her voice trembling. There's no escape. I didn't even know he had it in his arsenal. This is Golden Belt level in art of the highest mastery. Nagar hovered above them, hands clasped in meditation, his entire form radiating red lightning that cracked and hissed in the storm-darkened skies. Citizens scattered below, some struck down by bolts of crimson fury. Adamus spotted one of the strikes heading straight for his prison comrade, Civico. Stay right here. Adamus shouted, bolting through the chaos. He tackled Civico out of the path of the lightning just in time. You okay? He asked, helping Civico to his feet. Civico grimaced. What are you still doing here? You need to get out before. Their conversation was cut short as Nagare's power surged. Lightning spiraled from his body, and his voice thundered, Lightning Realm, Shurhai Dominion. From the earth, a towering shrine erupted, dwarfing everything around it. It rose like a colossus, sleek and foreboding, a fusion of midnight black, electric blue, and crimson red. Massive snarling tiger heads adorned each corner, their eyes burning with molten fury. Lightning-patterned runes pulsed across its surface, while six-dimensional shapes floated around it, their glowing, shifting edges casting eerie reflections. A thunderous hum filled the air, vibrating with Nagare's unchallenged supremacy. Atop the shrine, Nagare's eyes glowed with divine menace. Stage 1 begins now, he declared. A massive shield of red lightning materialized, enveloping the entire country in a web of crackling energy. His laughter boomed. No one escapes. Prepare for Stage 2. Adamus and Civico stared in shock. This is bad, Civico muttered. But before they could react, a voice broke through the chaos. Dad. Adamus turned to see a young boy stumbling toward them, breathing heavily, a massive coffin strapped to his back. It was Javali. Javali. Civico gasped, his voice thick with disbelief. What are you doing here? I told you to stay home and protect your mother. Dad, I haven't seen you in years, not since you got locked up for no reason. I can't risk losing you again. That's why I'm here. We can do this together, as a family. This battlefield isn't for you. Civico barked, his tone fierce with worry. It's for adults, for warriors. Who gave you that coffin? Civico's eyes narrowed as he scanned Javali's trembling form, his gaze falling on the coffin. Realization struck like a thunderbolt as he recognized the insignia on its surface. His heart clenched. Your teammate, Javali said quietly, his voice barely audible over the chaos around them. He's gone. Civico's breath caught in his throat. I found the coffin, Javali continued, his eyes glistening with restrained emotion. One of your comrades, he was dead. I saw he was struggling. He didn't have the magical abilities to activate this coffin. He was only an earthbender. But I've been practicing. I can use it. Ever since you've been gone, Dad, I've been honing my magic. Civico's expression softened, a mix of pride and sorrow flickering in his eyes. Drop it, Civico commanded. You don't understand its power. But Javali stepped forward, determination blazing in his eyes. No, I'll prove I'm strong enough. The coffin's intricate carvings flared red, pulsing with ancient energy. Coffin of where the winds meet, awaken. Javali shouted as he planted it firmly into the ground. Civico's eyes widened in terror. Don't open it, Civico yelled. Unleash. Too late. The coffin's energy surged, its red glow expanding into a cyclone of power that tore across the battlefield. A bolt of wind-forged energy struck Nagar midair, momentarily stunning him. But Nagar grinned through the shock. You think that will stop me? Nagar growled, his red lightning surging anew. He thrust a jagged bolt directly at Javali. Adamus moved to intercept, but Civico was faster. No, Civico roared, leaping in front of his son. The lightning struck him full force, sending him crashing to the ground. Dad, Javali screamed, rushing to Civico's side as blood spilled from his father's mouth. I'm sorry, Javali sobbed. I didn't mean. Civico coughed weakly, a small smile breaking through his pain. It's okay, son, he rasped. You're just like me, protecting others. That's what matters. Don't talk like that, Javali cried. We can save you. Civico shook his head. No, Javali. My time was always borrowed. I'm just glad. I got to see you and your mother one last time. Adamus knelt beside his dying friend, flames of grief and rage igniting around him. Civico, hang on. We'll finish this. Civico's eyes closed as his breathing slowed. Above them, Nagare's body flickered, his form beginning to dissolve into crackling energy. As Adamus cradled Civico's lifeless body, tears streamed down his face, mixing with the blood-soaked earth beneath him. Javali sobbed uncontrollably, clutching his father's hand, pleading for him to wake up. In that moment, the oppressive silence was shattered as Nagare's body disintegrated into a million sparks of red lightning. Yet his massive shrine stood firm, an ominous monolith of power, its glowing patterns pulsing like a heartbeat. The sky darkened, and a voice boomed like thunder, reverberating across the entire land. Nagare's face materialized in the storm-ridden clouds, his expression twisted with disdain. Your doom is sealed, his voice echoed, chilling the hearts of all who heard. I sought only to complete my mission, but you pathetic ants dared to resist. Now, behold my ultimate power. The shrine pulsed with ethereal brilliance, and Nagare's voice thundered. Within my lightning dominion, I wield absolute command over causality. Your actions, your lives, your very essence all bend to my will. Can be skipped. Narrator. Lightning Realm. Shirhai conjures a shrine that amplifies the caster's power and establishes a vast, impenetrable barrier. Within this realm, the wielder transcends conventional causality, existing as an arbiter of cause and effect. Here, time and consequence unravel at their command, as the boundaries between action and reaction dissolve into pure subjugation of reality itself. Depending on the energy poured into the spell, the higher the caster will ascend in transcendence. At this moment, he stands in the sixth dimension, perceiving all others as nothing more than lesser beings beneath his dominion. End of narration. Terror swept through the citizens trapped within the colossal red lightning shield. Some dropped their weapons, fleeing aimlessly, while others stood paralyzed in despair. Nagar laughed, his laughter like a storm tearing through the heavens. His enormous fist, larger than the mountains, slammed into the ground, scattering people like leaves in a gale. His sword materialized and vanished in flashes of crimson light, cutting through buildings and people with devastating precision. Amidst the chaos, Civico's eyes flickered open, and with a weak voice, he spoke his final words. Vajra, protect my family, my country Obaporkans. Be the hero you were to me. Thank you for this gift, seeing my son one last time. His spirit departed, a faint glow ascending into the stormy sky. Adamus rose, fists clenched, fury and sorrow intertwining within him. Kyoheim appeared, supported by Hunter, her face pale yet resolute. If what he says is true, Hunter muttered, there's no way out. Kyoheim nodded grimly. It's true. This dominion gives him unparalleled control over this marked space. To him, we are nothing but insects. They watched in horror as Nagare's attacks rained down, fists of lightning, colossal and unrelenting, and his sword slashing the earth like a vengeful god. Each blow sent shockwaves that tore through the landscape. Then, his face loomed larger, his voice booming. I haven't forgotten you, Kyoheim. My mission remains to destroy you. A massive blade of lightning descended toward their group, forcing them to scatter. Adamus leapt to dodge, but in the chaos, Javali slipped from his grasp and tumbled to the ground. Adamus turned back, his heart stopping as Nagare's lightning form materialized before Javali. Nagare's crackling hand grasped Javali by the shirt, lifting him effortlessly. You're the little brat who dared to strike me with that coffin's blast, Nagar sneered. Don't hurt him, Adamus shouted, his voice raw with desperation. You've hurt enough people already. Nagare's laughter boomed, a cruel, unrelenting sound. Hurt enough? There is no enough when it comes to crushing ants. With a sinister smirk, Nagare's blade of lightning flickered to life. In one swift, brutal motion, he sliced through Javali's arm, severing it cleanly. The boy's scream pierced the storm as Adamus roared in anguish, charging toward them with unwavering determination. As Adamus rushed to Javali, the lightning clone of Nagar vanished in a crackling burst of energy. Grabbing the boy, Adamus quickly placed his hand over the severed arm, channeling his energy to cauterize the wound and stop the bleeding. Javali cried out in pain, and Adamus reassured him, You're going to live. I promised your father, and I'll keep that promise. Suddenly, the sky split with a deafening roar, and Nagare's colossal hand emerged from the skies, swatting Hunter aside like an insignificant insect. The sheer force of the blow sent him hurtling into the ground, carving out a massive crater. Groaning, Hunter struggled to rise, his arms trembling beneath him, but Nagar was relentless. Before Hunter could fully stand, Nagar struck again, each devastating punch driving him deeper into the earth. The crater expanded with every impact, the ground trembling under the weight of the assault. Hunter's body crumpled under the unyielding force, his vision fading as the final blow rendered him unconscious. Silence followed, the air heavy with dust and the lingering echoes of destruction. Nagare's attention shifted to Kyoheim. His massive hand, now shaped into a pointed finger, descended with deadly precision. Immobilized by her injuries, Kyoheim could only watch as the finger pierced her body, driving her into the ground. She screamed, blood pouring from her mouth. Adamus sprinted to her side, grabbing the enormous finger in a desperate attempt to lift it. "Stop squishing her," he yelled, his voice filled with fury and desperation. Far above, Nagare's face in the storm clouds grinned wickedly. "Futile," he mocked. "You can't touch me. You cannot alter the cause and effect within my dominion." Adamus's hands passed through Nagare's arm as though it were a ghost, his strength meaningless against the laws of this space. Around him, chaos reigned. Citizens fled in terror, prayers were murmured amidst the carnage, and lifeless bodies lay scattered. Kaioheim sobbed, her body sinking further into the ground beneath the crushing weight. The cries of Kaioheim reached Adamus, who had been paralyzed by the overwhelming devastation. "That scream. It sounds like my mother," he muttered, his fists trembling. "I couldn't protect her before. I can't protect anyone now." But then, something ignited within him. His green flames burned brighter, hotter, fueled by a newfound determination. Black energy, star-like sparkles spiraled around his arm, merging with his flames. His voice thundered, "I'm tired of people like you hurting the innocent." Adamus leapt forward, his hand connecting with Nagare's massive finger. For the first time, it became tangible. He roared, lifting the finger with raw power, forcing Nagare's colossal arm back into the sky. Nagare's voice boomed, filled with shock and anger. "Impossible. I'm beyond causality in this space. How can you defy me?" Adamus held the wounded Kaioheim in his arms, tears streaming down his face. "I'm sorry, Mom. I couldn't protect you," he whispered. Kaioheim's eyes fluttered open, her voice weak but confused. "Why are you calling me Mom?" In Adamus's mind, memories of his mother and the weight of past failures surged like a storm, colliding with the urgency of the present. Faces of those he couldn't save haunted him, their pain and his guilt intertwining. "I won't fail again," he roared, his voice trembling with resolve. As the cries of the suffering reverberated through his consciousness, his eyes burned with an intensity that pierced through the fabric of reality. Every pang of anguish, every fragment of despair from those nearby, fed his power. Yet the storm of emotions did not endure, it collapsed inward, compressing until all feeling became void, a hollowed stillness of nothingness. From that emptiness came a new form, his very soul transfigured. His fury, no longer wild, crystallized into pure force, a torrent of raw, unyielding energy, surging outward with unstoppable might. His eyes blazed with a radiant golden light, the unmistakable power of Tenshi no Mi. From the emerald flames encircling him, a portion began to shift, darkening into an obsidian hue adorned with shimmering white sparks like distant stars in the void of night. The black and green flames swirled around his arm, spiraling together in a hypnotic dance. Gradually, the opposing energies fused with the emerald blaze, surging upward in a dazzling explosion of light and force, shattering through the barrier Nagar had so confidently constructed. The shockwave rippled into the cosmos, bending the fabric of reality itself. Nagar stared in disbelief, his shield reforming instinctively. Yet when he gazed down, Adamus was gone. In his place stood a towering black lotus, its petals glistening with an almost otherworldly sheen. Each petal was a deep, inky black, seemingly absorbing the light around it, yet outlined with a delicate silver luminescence that pulsed like a heartbeat. Scattered across its surface, brilliant white sparkles shimmered and shifted, like galaxies adrift in the vastness of space. Nagar stared in disbelief, his dominion trembling. "What is this?" he growled. He slammed his colossal arm against the lotus, but the moment it connected, his arm shattered into fragments of lightning. Impossible. The lotus began to bloom, its petals unfurling slowly. A radiant green light emanated from its center, and as the final petal opened, Adamus stood within, his body glowing with celestial power. As the petals of the black lotus opened, Adamus stood at its center, gazing up at the massive lightning-faced avatar of Nagar. The petals, black and ethereal, spread outward in an elegant yet powerful dance, some extending far across the horizon, while others gently cradled Kaioheim. Slowly, the petals began to heal her, wrapping around her in a soothing embrace. The green energy of the lotus enveloped those it touched, a quiet hum of restoration in the air. The energy's warmth radiated outward, touching other injured people and healing their wounds, their connection to the lotus deepening as they were surrounded by the petals' restorative glow. Kaioheim, lying among the petals, looked up at Adamus. A quiet thought echoed in her mind. Is this the warrior on fire? Her eyes followed Adamus's form, now standing amidst the lotus, transformed in ways beyond understanding. His eyes blazed with the gold light of Tenshi no Mi, his energy green and black fire, moving and flickering with every pulse of power. His hair, once afro-like, was now wild and flurried, swept by the wind that seemed to follow him, and a gold halo hovered gently above his head, an ethereal crown to match his new form. Above them, Nagare's massive face appeared, his voice dripping with confidence. "A flower? You think a flower will scare me?" His words cracked like thunder, and with that, his massive fists rained down from the sky, each punch like a force of nature, each one aiming to crush Adamus beneath its weight. But Adamus stood unfazed, his hand lifting calmly to meet the incoming blows. Each punch that raced toward him was dismissed with a single, effortless slap, Nagare's power shattering into nothingness on contact. Then a voice thundered across the battlefield, not merely spoken, but resounding with divine authority, reverberating through the fabric of reality itself. "My name is Vajra the Black Lotus, Sunyata, the angel of the Thunderbolt Dharma. I will create order." Every word rang like a decree from the heavens, a vibration that bent the world to its weight. His words continued to flow, deep and powerful, as if from a place beyond time itself. In the darkest night, in the fabric of illusions where truth distorts, at the heart of all constructs, the Black Lotus is born. Its petals are void, Sunyata's bloom. The petals of Sunyata reveal the flames of compassion. The flames of compassion create the brightest light, illuminating all with compassion's grace. A light that lifts all who aspire. The flames echo its mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum. As Adamus spoke, the petals of the Black Lotus spread farther, their energy reaching out to heal those in the midst of chaos. One of the petals gently touched Hunter, who was barely able to move, but could feel the warmth of its power slowly knitting his broken body together. He could barely stand, his body still weak, but his eyes locked on Adamus, a deep respect in his gaze. I have to protect this kid, he muttered to himself. He's a true hero. He might be the warrior on fire. Kaioheim, still being healed by the lotus, smiled softly and whispered to herself, he has to be the warrior on fire. The black lotus petals surged toward Javali, their energy wrapping around him. Slowly, his injured arm began to regenerate, tissue knitting together as the petals worked their miracle. Javali watched in awe, his gaze fixed on his arm as it fully regrew. I want to grow up to be just like him, Javali said, his voice trembling with emotion. A superhero. A light that everyone can follow in the darkness, a flame that unites everything. The energy around Adamus continued to intensify, radiant and unstoppable. The lotus bloomed more with each passing second, as though it were confirming the truth in Javali's words. Can be skipped. Narrator, this was it. The moment of truth. Adamus Vajra transformed into Vajra, the black lotus, Sunyata, the angel of the thunderbolt Dharma. The black lotus was not a weapon, nor even a form. It was everything and nothing, emptiness and non-existence. The paper upon which existence is written, and beyond that, the hand that writes upon it. A boundless expanse. A boundless omnipresence. Reaching across every omniverse, it was both the beginning and the end, the silence before creation and the echo after its collapse. In that state, Adamus was not merely divine. He was the principle of being itself. Narrator. To seek the truth is to walk the path of fire, where comforts fade and illusions shatter. Knowledge is not a gift, it is a burden. A mirror that reflects the depth of your flaws and the vastness of your potential. Power does not lie in knowing everything, but in embracing the humility that comes with the understanding that you will never know enough. Those who fear knowledge, who fear the flame, fear themselves, for it strips away excuses and demands accountability. True strength is not in avoiding this light, but in walking through it unblind by it, unburned by it. Knowledge is a great power, not because it controls others, but because it frees you. The seeker of knowledge, the one who faces the flame, learns to see beyond the illusions of fear and ignorance, dismantling the chains that bind the mind. True power is not found in domination, but in kindness, compassion, and self-understanding. It is the light in the darkness, the weapon in silence, the bridge over chaos. But remember, power without wisdom and compassion corrupts. Only the humble can wield the power of knowledge, the flame, without being consumed by it. End of narration. Adamus stared into the sky, his eyes locked on Nagar. Your reign of terror ends today, he declared. Nagar, puzzled, but before he could comprehend, Adamus unleashed the black lotus petals, shimmering with white sparkles like stars, toward him. Nagar laughed mockingly. I am beyond cause and effect, beyond causality itself. You can't touch me. Adamus remained silent as the petals surged forward, wrapping around Nagar and yanking him out of the six-dimensional space where he had hidden, protected from causality. In one swift motion, Adamus shattered the shrine that sustained Nagare's untouchable state. Now standing face to face, Nagare's shock was palpable. Impossible. That was a level gold spell, and you broke it like it was nothing. Adamus grabbed him by the throat. We shall judge you, he growled. Black flames erupted from Adamus's arm, engulfing Nagar. Suddenly, Kaioheim rushed from the black lotus petals, grabbing Adamus's arm. Please stop. I know what he's done is terrible, but don't kill him. He's like a brother to me. Adamus showed no acknowledgement, his grip tightening. I thought you were supposed to be a warrior of compassion. Kaioheim cried. Adamus turned his piercing gaze toward her. My name is Vajra. We must create order. Narrator. Though his body remained rooted in place, time slowed to an imperceptible crawl. The chaos of the battlefield stilled as Adamus was drawn into the depths of his own mind, transported to a realm of endless white. Her desperate pleas echoed faintly, like whispers from a distant world. In this mental dimension, everything beyond him ceased to exist. Before him stood a single flower, starkly black against the blinding void, its petals shimmering faintly as if infused with starlight. Its presence radiated both menace and mystery. Where am I? Adamus asked, his voice resonating in the boundless silence. I was just in the middle of a battle. The black petals reached out, wrapping around him, pulling him into their void. Fighting against their grasp, Adamus saw his own body in the frozen moment, a horrific scene of him choking Nagar, black flames consuming his victim while Kaioheim screamed for mercy. The petals tightened their hold, dragging him deeper. With a final effort, he closed his eyes, and when he opened them, he saw a radiant figure. Before him stood a being of immense power. Its skin glowed with a deep, mystical blue, like the endless ocean. Intricate tattoos etched celestial truths across its body, while 3 luminous gold eyes radiated piercing wisdom. Long, flowing hair cascaded down its back, rivaling even the grandeur of his mother's. The being possessed 4 muscular arms, each exuding cosmic strength and grace. The figure commanded the petals scatter. Not today. At its command, the petals retreated. Adamus, bewildered, asked, Where am I? Who are you? The figure's gaze remained steady. I am Vajrapani. The figure's gaze remained steady, a glimmer of amusement in its eyes. I am Vajrapai, it said, its voice resonating like a deep drumbeat. I imagine you have many questions for me. Adamus, still reeling from the strange dimension he found himself in, nodded. Yes, and you look familiar. Vajrapani chuckled, stepping closer until their faces were nearly level. Of course, I look familiar. We are the same person at least, spiritually. You are my reincarnation. Adamus's face froze in shock. Reincarnation? But that doesn't make sense. Aren't you a god or something? Vajrapani's laugh rumbled like distant thunder. No, I am no god. Not in the sense you think. But we don't have time for long explanations. Your spiritual energy is weak, and I'm surprised you've made it this far. It seems your emotions collapsed and became empty, has triggered something new in you, a new ability in your arsenal. Adamus's eyes narrowed. A new ability? Vajrapani nodded, gesturing around them. This place, this dimension, is within your mind. Your anger has opened a door, granting you the power to fight in the real world while projecting yourself here, a realm all your own. Few ever achieve this, and fewer still master it. You are at a crossroads, Adamus. Vajrapani pointed at a swirling portal within the dimension. Look there. That portal shows what your physical eyes are seeing outside this realm. Adamus turned toward the portal, peering into it. What he saw chilled him to his core. Himself, hands wrapped around Nagare's throat, black flames consuming the man, while Kaioheim screamed, pleading for mercy. No, Adamus whispered, shaking his head. That's not me. That's not who I want to be. Without hesitation, he sprinted toward the portal. Send me back. I have to stop this. Send me back now. No, Adamus whispered, shaking his head. That's not me. That's not who I want to be. I don't want to kill anyone. Expression darkened, his voice firm but not unkind. You don't want to kill anyone? I'm sorry, but to be a true hero, sometimes you'll have to make that choice. Some battles require sacrifice. Adamus shook his head more vehemently. No, I would never kill anyone. That's not my job. My job is to stop harm, to protect people, not to destroy them. He paused, narrowing his eyes. You said I'm your reincarnation, right? I have a hard time believing that. Vajra gave a small, knowing smile. You're young. You'll understand in time. Some people, no matter what you do, cannot change. He stepped closer, his presence overwhelming, and touched Adamus gently on the forehead. Listen to me carefully, kid. There's a reason why I've been reincarnated through you. Something evil is on the horizon, something so powerful that only we can stop it. I can see you've already met my brother. Adamus's eyes widened as memories flashed before him, a dream of a massive, otherworldly creature speaking to him the night before he gained his powers. His brother, Adamus thought, realization dawning. Vajrapani continued, his voice solemn. It seems Avalokiteshvara, my brother, has shared a portion of his power with you. How fortunate, and yet how heavy the burden you now bear. Adamus suddenly felt his body begin to dissolve, his form turning into green dust. Panic surged through him. What's happening to me? Vajrapani stepped back, his tone steady. Your spiritual energy isn't strong enough to remain in this realm within your mind. Right now, the only way you can access it is through your emotions collapsing into nothingness or compassion. Until you learn to meditate and achieve true peace, this place will only come to you when your emotions are empty. As Adamus began to fade, he reached out desperately. But I have so many questions. Vajrapani's voice echoed as Adamus disappeared. You will find the answers in time. Adamus jolted awake, his senses overwhelmed. Kaioheim's voice cut through the haze, her scream desperate. Stop it. Please stop. He looked down in horror to see Nagar suspended in the air, Adamus's hand gripping his throat while black flames consumed him. With a gasp, Adamus released Nagar, the man collapsing to the ground. Adamus staggered back and fell to his knees, his green flames dissipating as his breath came in ragged bursts. Kaioheim rushed to his side, concern etched on her face. Are you okay? So much power. How do you do that? Adamus shook his head, still trembling. I don't know. As the two stood, they saw the black flames around Nagar slowly fade, leaving him motionless but alive. The air was heavy with silence, the weight of what had just transpired hanging over them like a storm. Nathan Hunter jogged over, a bright grin on his face. Hey, are you guys okay? He asked, playfully punching Adamus on the arm. That was incredible. So much power. I'm impressed. But what did you do to him? He's not dead, but he looks confused. All three turned their attention to Nagar, whose eyes were pure white and unfocused as he stood motionless. Kaioheim knelt beside him, checking his pulse. He's still alive, she murmured, her brow furrowed. It seems like those black flames put him in some sort of delusional state. Suddenly, the sound of heavy footsteps echoed through the streets. The townsfolk, who had initially fled, now returned en masse, their faces filled with awe and gratitude. Among them were the pig-like Obaporkins, their sturdy forms stomping toward the trio. Before Adamus could react, the Obaporkins lifted him, Nathan, and Kaioheim into the air, cheering. Our heroes! Our heroes! They chanted, their voices a deafening roar of celebration. But amidst the revelry, Adamus's sharp eyes caught sight of Javali, the young Obaporkin boy, cradling the lifeless body of his father, Suviko. Adamus used his super speed to slip away from the crowd and rush to Javali's side. I'm so sorry about your dad, Adamus said softly, kneeling before the boy. Javali's voice wavered, but his words were steady. It's okay. He died protecting me. I know he was happy, at least I got to see him one last time. If you hadn't shown up, he would have died in that prison, and I would have never seen him again. Adamus clenched his fists. Next time, I'll be stronger. Faster. No one will get hurt on my watch. Javali looked up at him, determination shining through his tears. Me too. I'm tired of people stepping up to protect me. I need to protect others. I'm going to work on my magical abilities and become a hero. Just like you. Before Adamus could respond, the crowd's cheers turned into a menacing murmur. He turned to see a group of Obaporkins surrounding Nagare's unconscious body. One of them held a knife, poised to strike. Get away from him, Adamus shouted, rushing forward. The pig man holding the knife hesitated. We're grateful for you heroes, he growled. But he has to die. After everything he's done, we can't let him live. The crowd cheered in agreement, their anger boiling over. Adamus stepped between them and Nagar, his voice firm. Killing is never the answer. Look at him. He's already paralyzed, he can't move. He's basically a vegetable. Isn't that punishment enough? We can lock him up in prison. There's no need to stoop to his level. One of the Obaporkins hesitated, then nodded. He's right. We owe him that much. He just saved our entire country, we should at least respect his wishes. The crowd murmured, their anger dissipating. Slowly, they stepped back as the Obaporkins lifted Nagare's limp body and carried him to a waiting helicopter. We'll take him to the highest security prison, one of them said. As the helicopter ascended, Nathan and Kaioheim approached Adamus. Come on, Kaioheim urged. We have to hurry and get to the teleporter. Without wasting another second, the trio broke into a sprint, heading toward the teleporter and the next chapter of their journey. As the group arrived at the base, they were greeted by a grim sight. Pig-like guards and military personnel lay sprawled across the battlefield, lifeless. The air was thick with the scent of scorched earth and smoke from recent skirmishes. Navigating cautiously through the eerie silence, they made their way to the back of the base, where a massive teleporter loomed like a futuristic monolith. The hum of dormant machinery surrounded them as they approached. Nathan Hunter's eyes widened as he surveyed the controls. It's not activated, he muttered, rushing over to the control panel and furiously pressing buttons. Adamus arched a brow. Do you even know what you're doing? Hunter didn't look up. Yes, I used to be part of the hero organization. I'm pretty savvy with tech. Just as he started to make progress, Hunter's hands froze and his face paled. Damn, it's too late. Kyoheim's voice cut through the tension. What's that supposed to mean? Hunter turned, panic evident in his eyes. It means it's about to explode. Judging by the size of this thing, the blast will take out the entire country. As the gravity of the situation sank in, Hunter caught movement from the corner of his eye. A pig general was cowering behind one of the machines. In a flash, Hunter grabbed him by the collar. How do we deactivate the bomb? He demanded. The general stammered, sweat dripping from his brow. It's too late. When the grid called about the alarms going off, I told them what happened. They activated the bomb remotely. We're all dead. I'm sorry I can't stop it. Hunter growled, shaking the general. That sounds just like them. If they can't have the country, they'll blow it up instead. Adamus clenched his fists. If we can't stop it from exploding, then we'll make it explode somewhere else. Like in space. Without hesitation, everyone sprang into action. Using their super speed, they evacuated the remaining personnel and civilians. Adamus stood before the teleporter compound, his hands digging deep into the earth as his life strings emerged, weaving themselves around the massive structure. The compound was as large, but Adamus gritted his teeth, his strength amplified by the glowing life strings. With a mighty heave, he lifted the entire compound into the air, his muscles straining as he leaped into the sky. The weight of the teleporter and the pressure of the situation bore down on him, but he refused to falter. In one final, powerful motion, Adamus hurled the compound upward, sending it soaring beyond the atmosphere. He plummeted back to Earth, landing with a force that shook the ground beneath him. The townspeople, who had gathered to watch, held their breath as the compound exploded high above them. The night sky lit up in a spectacular display of light and fire, and the shockwave rippled through the earth, causing it to tremble beneath their feet. As the light faded and calm returned, Adamus stood amidst the crowd, breathing heavily. Kyoheim and Hunter rushed to his side. You did it, Kyoheim said, her voice filled with awe. Kyoheim folded her arms and frowned. No teleporter. How exactly are we going to get home now? Adamus grinned mischievously, wrapping his arms around Kyoheim and Hunter's necks in a playful gesture. I guess we're a team now. I've always wanted my own sidekicks. Besides, this'll be great exercise. We can just run back home, it can't be that far. Both Kyoheim and Hunter shoved him off. Sidekicks? If anything, you're a sidekick. Kyoheim snapped. Hunter adjusted his jacket, his expression calm. Adamus, do you even hear yourself? Running back? Do you realize how long it would take to get to the grid? We're in the Earth realm, on the complete opposite side of the planet. Adamus waved a dismissive hand. Come on, aren't you ready for an adventure? It'll be a perfect journey. It can't take that long. Kyoheim raised an eyebrow and crossed her arms. Adamus, there are countless realms between us and our destination an infinite upon infinite stretch of distances. Hypothetically, we're talking about entire stacks of infinite hyperverses layered on top of each other. To reach the air realm, we'd have to fly and run through them all. It's pretty far. Adamus blinked, his face falling. Wait, what? That sounds impossible. Hunter smirked. Exactly. It's a long journey to the west. Kyoheim nodded. We'll need at least 10 years to get there. But I know a few shortcuts. She grew serious. We have to make it back within a year. The prince is set to assume full leadership since my mother's death. If we don't get back in time. Adamus raised his hand. I second that. My mom's in a coma, and the doctor said she's got about a year. I'm not waiting 10 years. Hunter sighed, shrugging. All right, I guess we'd better start walking. Or running. Before they could take a single step, a crowd of Oboporkins appeared, cheering and waving. One of them stepped forward and addressed the group. Wait, before you leave, we have a gift for you. The crowd gestured toward the sky, where a shadow passed overhead. Everyone looked up to see Javali descending gracefully atop a massive black and white harpy eagle, its wingspan wide enough to cover several houses. The majestic creature landed beside them, stirring the air with its powerful wings. Javali dismounted, his expression filled with gratitude. You saved us. You're heroes. This is our gift to you. Adamus whistled low. Whoa, thanks, but I'm pretty sure we're faster than a bird. Javali chuckled. This isn't just any bird. This harpy eagle is one of the fastest creatures on the entire planet. It'll cut your journey time drastically. We've also packed you a lunch for the trip. Adamus, Kyoheim, and Hunter exchanged glances, then nodded. Thank you, Kyoheim said sincerely as the Oboporkins handed them a basket of supplies. The trio climbed onto the massive eagle, securing their positions as the crowd cheered and waved goodbye. Javali stood tall among them, his voice steady as he said, Safe travels, my friends. May your journey bring you new allies, new strength, and new purpose. The harpy eagle spread its mighty wings and took off, soaring into the sky. Below, the Oboporkins grew smaller, their voices fading into the distance. As the wind whipped around them, Adamus grinned. Well, looks like our journey to the air realm has officially begun. Who knows what we'll run into? Kyoheim smirked. Hopefully nothing as bad as what we just left behind. Hunter chuckled. Yeah, but trouble's always around the corner. The narrator's voice echoed over the scene. And so, the heroes embarked on their journey to the west. New adventures awaited them, full of challenges, allies, and enemies. Their path home would test their limits, their resolve, and their bonds. The journey had only just begun. The eagle's silhouette disappeared into the horizon, leaving behind the echoes of cheers and the promise of a new chapter ahead.